I didn't start content creation thinking that brands would just find me straight away, but somehow it just happened. I'm Sprout, a content creator from Bristol, and this is my journey with content creation. I'm not a full-time content creator or anything like that, but I have worked with brands such as Curl Kitchen, Eco Style, ASOS, Boohoo Man, and the crazy thing is, I didn't reach out to them, they found me. So, if you're a small content creator and you're just beginning your journey, trying to find your feet and you don't know where to start, you don't actually need, loads of followers or even a strategy. And I'm going to show you exactly what steps that I took to get where I am. So I'm going to take you all the way back to 2020 when it was lockdown. This was the beginning of my content creation journey, and it wasn't even intentional. I was working for an online marketing business, and part of that, we needed to be active on social media. So posting our lifestyle and just trying to keep up appearances. So when I started posting on social media, I think at the time I literally only had 2,000 followers. It wasn't much, and I didn't have a lot of engagement at the time either. So I was mainly just posting content that I enjoyed, whether that was fashion, lifestyle, just me, and that's how it started. So when you start out with content creation, you've probably heard a lot of people say that you need to have a niche. Now, if you don't know what that means, basically a niche is something that resonates with you. Your content is centered around that niche. So, for example, for me, my niche is lifestyle, hair care, and fashion. And a lot of my content was pretty clean, aesthetic, good lighting, and it's quite minimalist. You have to keep in mind if you want to be noticed by brands, then your content does need to stick out. So, what is special about you that would make brands want to repost your content or even work with you? And in the beginning of my journey, I was very consistent. So I remember I'd be going out on the weekend and I would drag my boyfriend out and I would say, "You need to take pictures of me in this outfit." And we would spend all day just getting as much content as possible. I would say to be consistent, you probably need to aim to post around 2 to 3 times a week. And I wasn't just posting like random pictures here and there. It was everything that I was posting was intentional. I wanted to be seen, and I wanted brands to, when they come to my page, just instantly understand what my vibe is. SEO is also really important as well. So that stands for search engine optimization. So when brands are looking for people to work with, they will, for example, if a hair care brand wanted to find users to promote their hair care products, the first thing they'd probably type in is hair or hair care, something along those sorts of lines. So making sure that you've got keywords in your name on social media. For example, in my case, it was my nickname and content creator or hair care. This is going to maximize your potential of being seen. So I just made it easy for brands to find me. And at the time, I didn't even realize that this was something that was so important. But making sure in your name it states who you are, what you're about, what your niche is. So, for example, my name would be T content creator or T hair care, something along those sorts of lines so that it's easier for brands to find you. So, going back to lockdown in 2020, when I started creating content, it was mainly fashion based. So, a lot of my content was outfits, just aesthetic shots and things like that. And over time, this kind of built a portfolio for me. So when brands did come to my page, they would see that I've already experimented with different types of content. Now, one of my key tips would be find a brand who you love, who you would love to work with. Go onto their pages, like Instagram, for example, go on their tagged pictures and have a look at some of the content creators and see kind of what they are posting as well. Don't copy them, but just use it as inspiration and think, how could I replicate this, but in my way, and put your own spin on it? And over time, your content will change. You gain different types of interests and different things. And for me, I put fashion on a bit of a back burner and started focusing more on hair care. My hair started growing a lot and I didn't really know like how to style it or anything. So I remember one of the first pages I came across was Eco Style. Now I've always known the brand and I never would have thought that they would want to work with me. But I remember just posting a video using one of their products. It wasn't a paid ad or anything like that. I was just showcasing how I use the product. And shortly after, they reached out to me and offered to send me some products to try. Now, that was a really important thing for me, and it made me feel really important and special because brands never would, reach out to me beforehand. But the fact that I had just off the bat just started using a product, filmed it, posted it, they seen it, that's how you get into it. And after that, they were really happy with the content. And then they reached out to me again, but they wanted to do a paid collaboration. Now, this was one of the first paid collaborations that I'd ever done. I'm not going to disclose how much they paid, but I was really happy with the amount that they gave me because this was something that I never would have thought would be possible. You need to also focus on centering your content around what would be usable. And what I mean by that is, bear in mind, when you create content, is this something that you think a brand would repost onto their page, or do you think that they would just completely fly past it? Now, if you're wondering, well, how do I create usable content? You basically just need to keep in mind what would grab the viewer's attention. You don't want videos that are really long and dragged out because people will lose attention. And you want to make sure that you hook your audience within the first 3 seconds. That's important. So what I would usually do would be show a little montage of the whole video and condense that down into 3 seconds. So it's really fast, it's snappy, it grabs the viewer's attention, and then it goes straight into the rest of the video. Having content pillars is also really important. If you have 3 content pillars that you focus on, this will ensure that you never run out of ideas when it comes to posting content. Now, a content pillar is essentially just a staple as to what you're about. For me, it would be hair care, fashion, and lifestyle. So I would usually post around these 3 things. And as long as you stay consistent with those pillars as well, over time, this is going to make your page look a little bit more cohesive, easy to look at, and not just like a scrambled mess. And if I'm being completely transparent, I really didn't have everything figured out in the beginning. And I still don't, like every single day is a new learning opportunity for me. What I found really useful is allowing failure to stop me from progressing. So I would, post a lot and expect something to come back. And when it didn't, usually this would knock your confidence and, make you stop. But for me, that was fuel for me to keep going. The main important thing is that you just start. Wherever you are, just start, just post. And every single day, that's how you build resilience. And for me, I also wanted to get into UGC work, which is user generated content. Now, for those who don't know what that means, it's basically creating content for brands for them to use on their pages without you having to actually post it on your own social channels. So one day I sat down and I thought, right, I'm really just going to lock in now. So I created a whole entire portfolio of my social media, including some of my best work, my engagement, my statistics, brands that I've worked with, just so that it's easier for brands to come to my page and know that I'm already established. But yeah, looking back now, I think the biggest thing was it's not just luck. You just have to keep going no matter what it looks like. If you post and it flops, doesn't matter, get up, post another video, just keep going. That's the only way you're going to build momentum. And eventually you will get seen, your content will get noticed, and brands will want to work with you. So if you're at that stage where you're kind of doubting yourself and you think, I'm posting, it's not being seen, people aren't reacting to it, trust me, they are. It just takes a little while sometimes. Everything you're posting is with intention. And when you look at it from a bird's eye view perspective, you'll have a collation of so much content that when brands do come to your page, they can just see that. And I'm really not an expert whatsoever. I'm still, new to content creation. Even though I've been doing it a little while, every single day, like I said, is a learning curve. So yeah, I'm just figuring it out as I go and seeing where it takes me. And if you're on a similar content journey as well, then we're here to figure it out together.